What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about the roses. They're things that you have to stop and smell no matter where they are. Neighbors' yards, backyards, behind fences, while they're sunbathing naked. Just wherever. Not that I've done that, but you have. I know you have. I see you. Yeah. Anyway, this film is has audio descriptions done by Dave Wallace. It's nice to see him on features. Like, it's nice to find a feature for him where it's like, yeah. We'll talk about it because there's always like a Dave Wallace debate, but I like him. Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Andy Samberg, Kate McKinnon, and Allison Janney are the stars here. Pretty stacked cast. It's a remake of War of the Roses, which starred Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. And we have made them British. That has switched up a little bit. Basically, the plot of the film here is fairly similar. It just takes a long time to get to where it needs to go. So we see Cumberbatch and Coleman, and they sort of meet and fall in love, and their relationship deteriorates over time. But it's like, when I say over time, I mean like the first 2/3 of the movie it is just this slow walk toward divorce. And then finally, so the most interesting thing about War of the Roses, which is this sort of battle over this divorce in this house, Cumberbatch is an architect and Coleman is a chef. And when they first meet, he is on the rise and she is following him to America. And then it flips, and then she's on the rise and he's not. He's not having quite as hot of a moment. I guess there's some male fragility that is telegraphed through the cataclysmic falling out of their marriage. Happens when he's on the downturn and she is on the upswing. Yeah, they have this really nice fancy house, and nobody wants to leave it. And that's the thing about the divorce, is they want to get divorced, but nobody wants to move out of the house. So they start fighting and really raising the stakes to sort of really uncomfortable but darkly comedic, um, uh, you know, risk-taking measures, I would say. Their friends are played by Samberg and McKinnon, who play a couple, which is the wrong way to go with that. Those two have no chemistry. They have like brother-sister chemistry. They have friend chemistry, but I don't buy them two at all. Ever being a couple. Like at all. So, and I don't know, man. That was a terrible mistake. I would have just written them differently. They can both be in the film. I don't know why like Sandberg can't be Cumberbatch's friend and McKinnon be Coleman's friend. They could easily both be in here, and I think the film is better for them. But they should not be a couple. They should not be the mirror couple of like happiness and warmth or whatever they're supposed to be in this, because it just doesn't work. I think this part was Danny DeVito's part, and they just divided it into, or is Danny DeVito the? It's been a hot minute since I've seen War of the Roses. I can't remember if he was if Allison Janney is a stand-in for him, or if these two are like a split in half version of him. If he was the friend or the lawyer. So, but McKinnon gets kind of weird too. Like does her like usual sort of like weird thing here, which I mean could be fun, but it's kind of unnecessary. And I think they're best used in small doses as best friend characters. That's what I think Jay Roach kind of overplayed it a little bit, but this film's kind of just like a mess in terms of pacing. We have way too much. It's like, this is not a historical piece where we have to know all of these things about these people. The more interesting thing is like the last part of the movie. That's why you stay there, is for the fighting, is for the bickering, is for the one-upping each other on trying to get themselves out of the house, and you have to go through so much to get there, and you should not have to. Like, that is why people come to this movie. That is, if you're gonna run a promo campaign, that's it. The whole, like, falling in love and romance story and everything that gets them there, and, like, them having kids and their kids growing up, and that whole we don't need that. It doesn't need to be here. Not for the length of time that we spend with them anyway. So, we needed like a one-third, two-third balance in the other direction. Like, I needed two-thirds of this movie to be them trying to kill each other, and one-third of the movie being like up to that point. And it's just not. The balance is off. And it's weird. I think that's why Jay Roach's The Roses just hasn't clicked with audiences. It kind of flopped. Nobody's really talking about it. It's not in the awards conversation for anything, despite having a really strong cast. Um, Disney wasn't really excited about its prognosis, so they released it at the end of August, which is never a good sign. Um, so there's a little window of time where it's still death. Like, we have done like the Labor Day weekend. They've put some things on Labor Day weekend and reinvigorated that time. I think that was like Shang-Chi was there. So there've been a couple of things that have released right around that time. But there, man, that last week in August is like right after kids go back to school, and it's right before Labor Day. It's still a deathly weekend for things. It's just not a good place to open. And that's where we threw like The Roses and Caught Stealing and some films that studios had zero faith in. So, I struggled. I was bored, and then it got better. Like, I could grade this film. I could split. This should be like Wicked and then Wicked for Good. So I could like grade it in the roses for good. Because the roses for good this time would get a higher grade because the last third of the movie is wildly entertaining. Like on a whole different level. As soon as they started fighting and Jay Roach could pull out all the stops, excellent. Fast forward to that point. We need more streaming services need to embrace speed modification because you could easily watch the first two-thirds of the movie on like 1.5 speed and then get to the last part and be like, okay, slow it down. This is the good stuff. We're getting to the good here, because some of the stuff that they throw at each other is a lot. And the benefit, because usually it's like, well, why do you remake this, right? Well, we've advanced a lot in technology over the course of these years, and I think um, while Douglas and Turner are a better on-screen couple and more iconic, Cumberbatch and Coleman have the benefit of time and all of the different ways that they can go after each other. And also, uh, I think the film finds new ways, so it doesn't just feel like it's retreading the same things that they did in the first movie. So, um, yeah, I struggle with this. It's gonna be a rotten for me because that's over like half the movie I didn't like, which means this movie would have to be below the threshold. But the sad thing is the last part of the movie is great. And so it's not gonna be a really low rotten for me. I seriously, like, if I would watch just the last third of the movie again, but I would not watch the first two-thirds. It was just a slog to get to this point. It wasn't that funny. Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon are not being used well because they're being used in the first two-thirds of the movie to try to like brighten it up. But that's the part of the movie that's dragging. Like, they need to be coming in and out of these, moments where Coleman and Cumberbatch are trying to kill each other a little bit more. They need to be trying to see these things and stopping them, or um, that's why I was saying they shouldn't be a couple, because if they could divide, then they could team up on things. Like, Coleman could have McKinnon's support and Cumberbatch could have Sandberg's support, and they could like plot and do things together. That's the core of this movie. What the fuck is Jay Roach doing? Like, why did he even bother? Why is he on this if he doesn't understand why you remake The Roses to begin with? The whole thing is about the fight. It's not about anything else. Like, uh, you get By the 30-minute mark, if they're not divorcing and fighting, you fucked up. Like, that is the maximum amount of time that you get to establish these characters. Like, the quicker you can get them there, the better. The more whatever. Like, we did not need this. Just because you have good actors who can give you like a range of emotions doesn't mean that you need to tap into that. Because Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner are also great actors, and were killing it back in the day too. And that film has more of a catty balance all the way through. Its tonality is perfect. This tonality is wonky. Dave Wallace's narration, there's always like some fragment of the blind community that thinks he's doing too much because he has like a performative level of audio description. My argument is always that a thank you, because that is what keeps human audio description going, is the distinctness of it being human to begin with. The fact that we are able to actually tell it's human and not a text-to-speech AI voice, because as those voices become more and more um, synthetic in nature and become copies of somebody lending their voice, the one thing that it can't do yet is fully interpret and emote to match what is happening. And performative audio description in any form is going to be the only thing that separates as synthetic continues to improve. It's going to be hard for them to get text-to-speech synthetic voice to react appropriately to what is happening on the screen ever, to match it, to match the tone, to match the inflection of the voice. Um, and Dave seems to understand what is happening on the screen, when the comedy beats, what's the setup and what's the punchline. And he doesn't do nearly as much here as he does on a lot of sitcoms, but he does understand how to navigate a comedy. That is his strength. I don't need him on Hamnet. If he was doing Hamnet, I'd probably lose my fucking mind. But like on comedies, yes, absolutely. This dude understands comedic timing like the back of his hand. So the fact that he's in the roses actually makes the roses more interesting. Because for the first two-thirds of the movie, at least he's trying to um, deftly highlight what works or what is working in the film. You know, like to find the funny while also appropriately describing the visuals. It seems like, you're trying too hard, but what you're doing is you're just approaching it in a different way. Um, it's sort of like in a horror movie, right? If you've got mounting tension, and it's quiet and the sound has dropped out and maybe there's a jump scare, you kind of don't want that narrator just coming at you like wholeheartedly full on in these quiet moments. Like, she walks down the hallway to the door opens, she looks inside, there's nothing inside, behind her suddenly a face appears. Like, you just don't want it like straightforward like that. Who the fuck wants that? So it's performative is interpretation. It's just interpretive audio description, and I think it does a great job of it. And once the film actually starts having fun with itself instead of being a slog, he has a little bit more to play with. But yeah, I enjoyed this audio description track. So I just didn't enjoy the film that much. The last third is great though. Just it's on like Hulu now. I didn't pay to see this. I didn't go to the theater. So if you have Hulu and you're debating about the roses, I don't really want to see it. Fast forward. Get to the good stuff. See if you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I yeah, but yeah, this is a rotten. I really did like the last part of the stuff. I'm gonna give it a 5.1 out of 10. If Jay had just done a better job of pacing and understanding, and like, why did you want to remake this if this was what you were gonna do with it? Like, I just don't understand. I guess there's some belief that because you have Cumberbatch and Coleman that you have to attack it like it's some prestige film, and give them, like, more stuff at the beginning and less, but damn it, Douglas and Turner were great back then, and they were so, anyway, um, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.